Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today, we are starting the process of making a gingerbug. I have tried to do this several different times and never... I really gotta close this one down. I've tried this a couple times in the past. I've had success one time, but I never maintained it, so it died. So we're gonna try doing this again. And this time I'm going to bring you guys along for the journey. So what we have here is 1 tablespoon of freshly grated ginger. I just grated it. 1 tablespoon of sugar and 100 milliliters of water, which is 3.5 ounces. And I don't know if necessarily the water is terribly important, the amount of the water, but generally most of the starters that I've seen is a 1-to-1 ratio of sugar and water. Sugar and ginger. And then normally the other recipes also that I've seen had pretty much almost equal amounts of water as well. I think maybe like twice the amount, so it'd be like 2 tablespoons of water. I liked this recipe that I found because it had so much water. I found that that was something that when I was trying to do it in the past, which I had many failed attempts at it, it just didn't seem to be enough water to properly... the water didn't seem to be enough. So I like this recipe. And I found this recipe in this book here. It's called Fermented. And this book is by Holly Davis. I really like this book. I like parts of this book. Some of the book has some really weird recipes. Like the recipes for how to actually use a lot of these ingredients, I found to be something that I probably wouldn't likely do. But a lot of the actual fermentation recipes are really nice. I guess I personally wouldn't take the extra step to do a lot of these recipes and things that she says that you can use them for. I would just use them for my own purposes. But like I said, a lot of the actual fermentation recipes, so far, the ones that I've seen, seem to be really good. So all we're gonna do with this the first day is we're just gonna take the water and the sugar, and we're gonna take a wooden spoon. And I don't think it matters so much the first day if you use a wooden spoon, but once this thing actually starts to ferment, you want to make sure that you're using wood or plastic. You don't want to use any kind of metal. And I'm using the wooden spoon on the first day because I don't want to damage my jars. So wood is not going to ding it, it's not going to scratch it, it's not going to crack it. So that's why I'm using wood today. So all we're going to do is we're just going to stir this until the sugar is completely dissolved in the water. If you wish, you absolutely can do this ahead of time and you can warm the water up and that it'll melt a lot easier in the water, and then just wait and let it cool down completely and then combine it with the ginger. I just don't want to do that. So I think we got it here. Then we're just going to put the ginger in here, kind of give it a little stir, kind of push down on the sides of the jars, make sure there's not too much creeping up the sides there. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to cover it with a cloth or a paper towel or a coffee filter, something like that, with a rubber band it on there to keep it so that it can breathe and it can just, gather the stuff from the atmosphere and the area around it so it can pull it in and it can make a proper fermentation. So we're just going to cover this, we're going to put it in the corner, and we'll see you again tomorrow. We're going to do almost the same exact thing. Basically what it says to do in this recipe is a tablespoon of the sugar and the ginger, and then it says half the amount of water. So, and then also I should insert here that this recipe actually calls for something called muscovado sugar. I don't recall ever hearing about muscovado sugar, let alone do I actually have it. So I'm just using regular Costco sugar, the organic cane sugar, and that's what I'm using. And so if you want to go ahead and source the muscovado sugar, have at it. But that's not what I'm gonna do. It's been about a week since we made our gingerbug, and I've been tending to it almost every day this week. And so I wanted to go ahead and bring you along and show you one of the times when I'm making this gingerbug. And all I do with it, you can see here, you can see all the bubbles and just everything that's on top of it here. And you can see, apart from my dirty garden fingernails, you can see it's got the rim on top, and it smells really good. It just smells, just amazing. Anyways, all you do is, if you have a microplane, it works better. I broke mine. So I'm just gonna shred this and keep it on top there because I got a fly buzzing around. But all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna shred up the ginger about a teaspoon. I do a little, or a tablespoon, pardon me. This week I've been doing a little bit more than a tablespoon because it's just been a busy week for me and it's been tough to keep up with it every single day. So I figured it'd be good to put a little bit extra, give it a little bit of extra sugar and a little bit of extra fuel to get it going in case I accidentally missed it for a day, which did happen twice. And I'm getting ready, after this, I'm just gonna put it in the fridge and we're gonna tend to it every week instead of every day. Kind of just makes it a little bit more practical. And then with this, in order to use it to make anything, you can use it as a fermentation starter. You can use it to add to any kind of fermented sodas and things like that, which we are going to do later on. But for this, you have to kind of tend to it about the same as you would with with a sourdough starter. And so we're going to keep it in the fridge and we're going to pull it out every week. If we're not using it, we're going to pull it out every week and do what we're doing right here and just pop it, leave it out on the counter for a couple of hours and then stick it in the fridge. And then if we want to use it, all we're going to do with it is pull it out of the fridge probably like the day before we want to use it. We're going to feed it and get it going, and then we're going to use it the next day and then replenish some of what we took out of it. Okay, so that's way more than what we need. Okay, so all we're going to do with this is we're going to add a tablespoon of sugar. We just have our regular good old organic cane sugar. Now I'm going to do a heaping teaspoon, throw it in there. And then this is more than a tablespoon, but I'm gonna put this in here. And then this week I've been adding 4 teaspoons of filtered water. And then I'm gonna show you kind of how you can tell that it's ready. Basically, when you're looking at it, you can see, and then you stir it. You can kind of hear it. It was much more prominent last night, but then I just stir it up. It was super active last night. I was really hoping that it would do the same, but it was just really bubbly and fizzy, almost like you just opened up a can of like pop or something, you know, like it was really good. So all we're gonna do with this is we're gonna put it in the fridge as is. And once every week, we're gonna pull it out of the fridge and we're gonna feed it exactly the way that we just fed it, with the tablespoon of sugar, tablespoon of ginger, and about 4 tablespoons, you know, quarter of a cup of water. And we're gonna stir it up, and then anytime that we want to use it, like I said earlier, we're just gonna go ahead and pull it out the day before, feed it, kind of let it waken back up, and then we're gonna use it. So if you are interested in what I'm going to be doing with this in the future, stay tuned, and we're going to be having lots of other fermentation videos on this, how to make different flavors of fermented sodas and whatever else we can figure to do with the gingerbugs, because it's not just a gingerbug, it's what is a gingerbug, but it's also just a fermentation starter. We can use this to inoculate other types of fermented things, fermented vegetables or fermented drinks or all kinds of different things. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you learned anything or just had a good time, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye.